Today we're going to be talking about XDefiant and the Call of Duty player base that for some reason complains about it and goes to people's streams asking, why are you playing this dog shit? I was in the gym and I read a comment on my video and somebody had the audacity to say that XDefiant's a copy and paste game. Now, this seems to be a very common opinion from a lot of the people out there that are super closed-minded and have no perspective because they've only played a handful of games their entire life. But I want to set the record straight. If XDefiant was such a copy and paste game, why isn't every single person playing Call of Duty on XDefiant right now? There are a lot of fundamental things and differences about XDefiant. In fact, there's more different about XDefiant than there is the same. And I am by no means saying XDefiant's a better game. So before you guys get all mad on your keyboard, start smashing against your head, hear me out. So weeks ago, XDefiant releases as a standalone game. It's a multiplayer FPS arena shooter that's free to play. And at a time in gaming where there's really not much out there to compete with Call of Duty and other games that we may enjoy, it's nice to have some fresh blood out there in the streets. That way we can actually go to something if Call of Duty servers are down, they're pissing us off, or whatever the other remaining excuses are that Call of Duty usually has. Now, I love Call of Duty through and through. I've been a COD player my entire life since its existence. Let's take you guys back to the days of OG COD, the great COD era. And we're talking MW1, MW2, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. That 5-6 year span was just so golden. And let's talk about the reasons why I believe that was the case. One being it wasn't super corporate at the time, so developers actually got to develop games. Whereas now developers are kind of gatekept and held to strict deadlines and just fear of losing their job if they do anything outside the box. I know a few devs with other developers and they're having to fight that, so I know damn well Activision is probably worse than all of them. So back during the goated era, COD had other competitors, mainly Battlefield. And back then there was always a little war with Battlefield players and Call of Duty players, but most of us for the most part played both games. It really didn't matter. In that time frame where I was probably more of a COD fan than anything else, I was still grinding Call of Duty, Gears of War, Counter-Strike, Halo, Battlefield, and I mean, the list goes on. We had a lot of games, and at the time, the developers were kind of competing with each other. Battlefield, Call of Duty, Halo, even though they were completely different genres for the most part, the companies seemed to always want to get the one up. Whether it was going to E3 and having the most banger release, whether it's having the most sales, they were always trying to one up each other, which bred competition, which bred better games. I mean, that was a time where gaming was at its, in my opinion, the peak, the pinnacle. And just a few seconds ago, I named off probably some of the biggest games of all time, and they were released within the same time frame. I don't believe it's a coincidence. I think at the time, the devs were allowed to do what they wanted to do, and at the same time, the development corporations got to compete with each other and breed new ideas and do new things. I mean, Call of Duty was innovating, Battlefield was innovating. There were a lot of new things happening within the industry all around. But now we've gotten to this weird spot where it's more about just a cash and grab, drop every year no matter what. So I say that to say having another company like Ubisoft come out with a game that's actually really well made and actually being led by a development team that genuinely cares what you think about, what I think about, what we all think about. They may not make changes we all want, but you can't make everybody happy, because as we know from World of Warcraft and Call of Duty and other games like that, when you try to make everyone happy, no one's happy. And that's kind of what Call of Duty has fallen into. At its core, it's a casual game, but here lately, they're trying to lean more competitive while going back more casual, while trying to keep both people happy. And at the same time, they're running their player base off in droves because at the end of the day, nobody's happy. So having another studio step into the arena shooter world is actually a really good thing. And the reason being is because, again, maybe Call of Duty might step up. They might say, holy crap, there's competition. We got to get back into the industry because our last competitor, EA Games and DICE, they're shit, which they are. I love you, Battlefield, but you let us down. So having another studio light a fire under Activision's ass is not a bad thing. What is weird is that gamers are actually upset at anyone who has a positive thing to say about XDefiant and at XDefiant itself, which is such a closed-minded thing for any gamer to ever have. You might not like it. There are a lot of games I freaking hate that a lot of you guys love, but I'm not going to be out here going to people's videos and typing all this hate stuff. Like, I'm glad y'all like that. Keep on liking that, and I'm gonna go over here and do my thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of gamers, especially newer COVID gamers, lack perspective. And again, it's not their fault. Unfortunately, in this era of gaming, dude, we really don't have much that we can kind of compare. We don't have much we can bounce to. I was able to bounce from game to game to game to game back in the day, but now it's just like the amount of good games that are stable, that are fun to play, that you don't get burnout on, that aren't super try hard or super just underdeveloped. There's really not that many. I mean, just your top games right now have been out for multiple years. Fortnite, Warzone, Apex. I mean, they've been out for what, 4.5 years? I think Fortnite's on 5 now. So it's like there's really nothing new and innovative being made. Most of the time when a new game comes out, I play it and I'm like, it's gonna die. I mean, look at the finals. I called that from the get-go, and it happened. And a lot of other games like that. I'm not saying I'm always right, but usually myself and a lot of other people, we have good eyes for these things because we've been in the industry for so long, whether professionally or whether just as a hobbyist. We've been gaming, we've been doing this for a very long time. When I play XDefiant, when I see XDefiant, when I watch their Twitter, when I see their feedback, when I see the devs who really don't have to be saying anything. They could literally hire someone to do it for them. When I see the devs in the comments replying to people saying, bro, good idea, or no, your idea is ass, I respect that. I love that. We've been asking that from Activision forever. We've been asking for feedback on everything for so long, and we finally got a little spark of hope when the two devs got on the camera and said, hey guys, we're gonna be talking about sbmm here soon. Just wait for it. We're gonna explain it all. And then they released some bullshit lawyer statement saying SBMM's in the game, blah, blah. Very basic, very just nonchalant. Didn't make any damn sense. That's the kind of feedback we get from Call of Duty. So seeing another studio doing the things that I believe needs to be done is amazing. I think the old-fashioned corporate days are definitely dying. And unfortunately, Activision just still holding on. Still got to keep their shareholders happy and just keep in the little guy in the process. Don't worry, guys. We'll be releasing a $30 skin soon so we can nerf it in 2 weeks. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day. But the point of the video is, guys, look, there's a lot of games out there, and as gamers, we should want all games to succeed. I mean, having a good portfolio of games to be able to play is a dream a lot of you guys should have. It's something we used to have from single player games all the way to multiplayer games. It was very rare that a AAA or a AA or a single A, is that a thing? Studio dropped a game and it was just complete dog shit. It was very rare. Dude, we're in a time now where it's like gaming should be evolving. We have more gamers than ever. Gaming studios are making more money than ever. The technology has evolved to such a level, there's no reason why we can't get smooth, optimized gameplay with literally the best graphics that are so real, you feel like you can touch it on your screen. There's no reason at all. And look, again, I love Call of Duty, I really do, and I believe they got some good devs. I mean, at its core, COD's still a good game. It's just stale. We've been using the same streaks in Warzone. We got the same streaks over and over. There's nothing new, nothing innovated. I mean, let's look at the streaks. I think they're all pulled from older CODs. Let's look at the maps. All pulled from older CODs. So seeing XDefiant come out as a new entity and really put a nice dent in the gaming industry is good to see. And it really should amp a lot of gamers out there, whether you like it or not, for good things to come in the future, because I do believe competition breeds excellence. I say it in my tips videos that if you guys want to get better at COD, even as a casual player, you have to step up your competitiveness and start getting in damn fights. And the same thing goes with studios. We see it all the time, dude. Right now, Call of Duty kind of has a monopoly on the gaming industry. I mean, not to mention Call of Duty is still not free to play. XDefiant is. In a time where the economy is rough and people living check to check, it's nice to see some games out there just putting shit out there for free, you know? I'd probably forgive Activision a lot more on the microtransactions if their entire game was free to play, especially since the single player was so dog shit or short this year. But I can't because they're still charging premium. And on top of that, battle passes. But XDefiant is one of those games where you can literally just log on and play and have fun. You don't have to sweat. You don't have to worry about SBM just completely cranking up on you when you're doing good and completely getting shit on for the remainder of your day. And honestly, it's good to see people not get punished for being decent players or at least having good games. I mean, even if you consider yourself a bot player with a 0.2 KD, even if you think you're ass, you're gonna have some games where you're good. And the last thing you're gonna want as a player is to be punished for those good games, which is what Call of Duty is doing. So on top of the game being free to play, no SBMM seems to be in the game. It feels good, it plays good, I'm having fun, a lot of people having fun. There's a reason why they had 700,000 concurrent players in the first week. It speaks volumes, and I'm really hoping to see a lot of things out of not just Call of Duty, but all development studios in general, because with a happy player base comes a lot of money. And look, I hope COD makes the most money in the world. I hope XDefiant makes the most money in the world. But first and foremost, I hope they make their player base happy. And again, not everyone will be happy. A lot of you guys watch right now are probably like, Savage, game's ass. And that's fine. But to have crazy, crazy quotes like this, thinking Call of Duty invented all this shit, thinking that XDefiant's copying COD is wild. First off, Search and Destroy was in gaming long before Call of Duty was even specking somebody's balls. And as a former Counter-Strike player, that pisses me off. People thinking that COD invented search. Get out of here, bro. Y'all on crack. Call of Duty really hasn't innovated or created anything here recently. I mean, even with loadouts being added to Warzone or Battle Royales, it's like, that's a good concept and it was definitely unique, but it's still reusing the loadout system that they already had, reusing the perk system they already had, reusing the maps they already had. I mean, if anything's copy and paste, it seems Call of Duty is, right? Wouldn't that make more sense? Movement. Completely different. I don't understand the concept of people saying that the movement is the same. In XDefiant, there's no slide canceling. There is bunny hopping. You move fast, but if you want to think about that, technically Titanfall had movement before Call of Duty had movement. So again, did they really innovate? XDefiant has no streaks, which I think is a great thing in gaming, because I mean, realistically, when you're playing objectives, how many of you guys, I'm guilty of it too, so don't lie. How many of you guys, you're on a kill streak, you're about to get your Harrier, you're about to get your AC-130, you're close to a nuke, and you stop playing the objective and focus on your kills? A lot of you guys, a lot of us, I think most COD players are probably guilty of this. But when I see an XDefiant, when I'm playing XDefiant, is people are getting high kills, but like, people are playing the objectives. Even guys that aren't going for objectives, they're still running around the map, clearing lanes, helping the team get objectives. So even if their primary focus as a player in XDefiant isn't to do objectives, in a sense, they kind of are doing objectives just by running around and doing that. Where if it's Call of Duty, if you're close to kill streak, you sit still, you camp, you hide. Because there's so much clutter on the map, you can hide behind things, you can hide in rooms. XDefiant's maps have multiple lanes, multiple alleyways, verticality. I mean, there's so many ways you can contest campers. I'm not gonna say impossible to camp in XDefiant, but it is really difficult for people to camp. I've probably been killed by a camper maybe 10 times in XDefiant, and to be fair, I don't even know how long they were sitting there for. So look, this is more of a ramble. I have no script in front of me. I'm literally just looking at a black page so you guys don't see the screen and reflecting in my eyes. So I'm just kind of ranting right now, but seeing a lot of the comments from Call of Duty players is sad. It's disheartening. I'm not even mad about it. Even when people disagree with me, I'm not mad. I'm just like, dude, I feel bad. Like, how closed-minded of a gamer do you have to be to really think Call of Duty is the end-all king of kings? I mean, the game, if you prefer it more than anything, by all means, prefer it. But to have this sense of high ground to where Call of Duty started this, Call of Duty started that, like, even though they are at the top of the board right now, there's not much they actually started. They did put Medal of Honor out of business, so I will give them that. But other than that, man, what else have they done? What else have they created? What else have they innovated? Also, guys, look, people can like both games. And as gamers, I encourage you to just turn that part of your brain, the hater part off, turn it off and play it, dude. Because if you really can find a way to enjoy XDefiant or another game, it'll make your gaming experience much better. You're having a bad day in COD, go play XDefiant. Play that, and you start having a bad day in that, go play COD. It's gonna be better on you as a gamer mentally to play two different games. On top of that, it's going to make you a better gamer as well. Because aim assist in XDefiant isn't as strong as Call of Duty, when you go play XDefiant and you're missing your shots, once you start honing in and locking in and getting better with aim, you go to Call of Duty, you're gonna be a way better player. And trust me, guys, you'll benefit a lot more from just playing other games. When I started YouTube, I played multiple games: PUBG, Battlefield, Smite. I was all over the place. I never was a one game type streamer, a one game type YouTuber until Warzone. And I'm guilty of it too. I fell into that loop, like Call of Duty or nothing, Call of Duty or nothing. I got blinded. And I'm trying to tell you guys right now, man, now that I'm playing other games on and off stream, I'm having fun at gaming again. I think Call of Duty has kind of like put this weird, like abused puppy dog mentality on us to where we feel like we have to play it. We get FOMO if we don't. And it's weird. The only thing we're getting FOMO for is anxiety. I mean, shoot, dude, a lot of you guys that are playing drunk with your friends and having fun, that's a different case. But most players are out here playing solo with randoms, wanting to smash their head through the TV, and it's not that fun of a time. Call of Duty wonders why their player base is falling off. It's because we're bored. They're fighting old engine, old code, hackers, bad servers, disconnects, patch issues, update issues, guns being completely broken every time there's a new update. And this shit gets tiring. So to sum it all up, this video really shows my ADHD. I don't know if I made a point or not, but I'm gonna edit this and post it out anyway because I'm speaking from my heart. 2, XDefiant might not be everyone's favorite game. You might not even like it, and that's fine. But if you're gonna make an argument for hating XDefiant, just say the reason why you hate it. Don't make shit up. And 3, it's okay if your favorite YouTuber or streamer is making content on another game. It is okay. Watch somebody else until he puts out another video you want to see. And lastly, guys, I encourage you, please, outside of Call of Duty, start gaming. You can still play COD, but find some love with gaming in general because there's a lot of good games out there, old and new. And I'm hoping XDefiant really pushes the envelope for development teams to make better and better games. We need competition in the industry. Stop hating on competition, start embracing competition, because I promise you right now, it's the only way Call of Duty's ever gonna shake back. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.